Well, we've got to have him back sometime in the near future. Just an amazing interview with former Minnesota Governor Jesse Ventura, Hollywood movie star, wrestling champion, best-selling author, surfer. And it's great getting to meet him in person when he was with Kinky Friedman. And we've had Willie Nelson called up a month or two ago and said, hey, I want to come on your show and talk about 9/11 being an inside job, and he came on and talked about it. Governor Ventura, what is the establishment going to do as one of the most respected living Italian presidents, former head of their intelligence, went public and said 9/11 was carried out by criminal elements of the government? What are people going to do as we see more and more and more and more former CIA section chiefs? We have just hundreds of engineers, physicists. We've got Bob Baer that the movie Syriana's about, a famous SEAL commander, saying all the evidence points at inside job. We have underwriting laboratories. Kevin Ryan, they did internal tests and said it was impossible with Building 7. What are they going to do as the laws of physics come out here?
Well, they're going to continue to deny it. Your mainstream media is going to completely ignore anything. You know, the mainstream media has never shown the film of Building 7 going down. And what we have to do, in my opinion, is people like you and your radio show and people like me continue to tell people. Everywhere I go, I tell people to go to the internet and watch Loose Change, because my son turned me on to that. And, of course, when he first told me, I thought, come on, you know, they can put anything on the internet. And when I finally did watch it, you know, I went through every emotion you could imagine, from laughing, crying, getting sick to my stomach, to everything, the whole emotional thing. And I think the best thing we can do is just to keep communicating, and hopefully the truth will come out eventually if enough pressure is put on and enough people gain knowledge of what's going on in the world. And we don't want to lose our country. After all, it's still our country, and until they put us down, we have the power, and we have the power to vote these people out of office and get people in there that have the best interests of the country in mind.
Governor, I produced the Loose Change Final Cut. It just came out a few months ago. Have you seen that? I need to mail you a copy of it.
No, I have not, but I'll tell you what, Alex, when I get back to the States, I got your phone number here. I'll give you a call, and you can fire it up to me.
Absolutely. Or I can send it to you. And
I will be back in May, so it isn't that far off.
Fantastic. Now, I gave you a copy of Terrorstorm. Did you have a chance to watch that?
Review it for me quick.
Remember when we met here in Texas, I gave you a copy?
Sure.
It's just the history of government-sponsored terrorism.
Okay. I vaguely remember it. Yeah, I've been reading so much and all that, yeah, definitely now I do.
You told me that you read 16 books in the interim researching this and other subjects. So what are other questions you have about the official story?
Well, the other questions I have, again, are why was there no wreckage outside of the Pentagon when the Pentagon was supposedly hit by this other plane? And in fact, when I was watching Loose Change with a friend of mine, he happens to work for a company that helps to build the Boeing airplanes. And when they said that the engines completely disappeared and were destroyed, his response, excuse my French, was bullshit. and I turned to him and said, why? He said, because they're made out of titanium steel. They can't disintegrate.
Well, they said that the whole plane disintegrated.
Right. But the engines would never, because they're titanium steel.
Whoa. I wonder why they're still keeping all the cameras secret, too.
I don't know. Well, but obviously why, Alex? They don't want any of us paying attention anymore. Remember something. Most people in the United States have a attention span of about, 30 minutes?
Yes.
And then they're on, and they don't pay attention after that. And the problem is, and I encourage people all the time, stop watching TV and start that old thing called reading. Start reading again, because it's the dumbing down of America that's happening right now. Case in point, last year, every major news station in America for 30 days covered the lead story of Anna Nicole Smith.
They did.
And I sat and got so angry because I thought, how does this woman warrant all of this?
It's a distraction.
She was a Playboy playmate and a gold digger.
Well, we have troops dying in Iraq. We have the economy going to hell in a handbasket. We have all this corruption. And in the 5 minutes we've got left with you, Governor, we are going to let you go because I know you're very busy and have a break before your next interview. I would like to get your take on the White House. Why did they think they could sell torture and White House memos about torturing children with pliers in front of their parents? Why did they think they could lie about WMDs? Does that play into the hubris of folks that would be involved in the 9/11 attack?
Well, because always remember this, the most dastardly person in the world that I know of was Adolf Hitler, that I've ever read about. And remember what his most famous quote was: the bigger the lie, the easier the sell.
That's it, because people just can't believe it. It's the audacity.
Well, let me put it to you another way. My mom and dad are both gone now. I've been an orphan since 1995, but my wife's parents are still alive, and they're elderly people. And when I try to bring this up with them, they don't want to believe it. And the reason is so simple. They don't believe anyone can be that evil. And I think a great deal of people in this country are of that same thought. They don't believe that people can be that evil.
And that's how Hitler was able to do what he did, because people judge the world according to themselves. And if they're nice, sweet people, then they think, and that's the main reason criminologists say women, get in yellow Volkswagens with Ted Bundy, because they can't believe a nice guy in a nice suit is going to be biting chunks out of them an hour later.
Exactly. And that's the thing we have to wake up to, is that there are bad people, there are evil people, and when we sit back, then, evil prevails if we allow it to happen. So
44,000 U.S. troops, 18,000 British troops, 2 aircraft carrier attack groups in the 3 months before 9/11 massed in the countries and in the waters off of Afghanistan. Newsweek reported Bush, the day before 9/11, signed the attack orders to go into Afghanistan 1 week later. Isn't that pretty obvious when you have all of these troops being massed and then Bush says, we went in because of 9/11?
I can't answer that, Alex, because that's information I have no knowledge about. I have to just simply take your word for it. Mm-hmm. But if that is true, then absolutely yes.
Well, here's an example. You know about Gulf of Tonkin, because I talked to you a year and a half ago about that. They now admit that that was staged. They now admit, Chicago Tribune, that Israel did attack the Liberty in 1967 to try to blame it on Egypt. That's now declassified. That debate's over. Governments, all governments have been caught. Putin's been caught doing things like this. Do we need to have a renaissance and awakening to this so criminal elements in government stop doing it? How important is it to expose false flag terror?
Well, that's why I wrote the book, Alex. It's Don't Start the Revolution Without Me, and I believe we must have a revolution in which to take our country back.